Hello, folks. Welcome to Old Ass Movie Review. I'm Dave. That's Scott. And today we are going to review Albert Finney's Scrooge. I say Albert Finney's, but it's not really his. It's a musical from 1970. It was released at the theater, and I saw it for the first time probably the first run on television.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Monday night at the movies or Friday night
Yeah.
at the movies, one of the old CBS or NBC.
I mean, we had three channels, so when
Yeah.
somebody had a movie, it was movie night. You know,
Yeah.
everybody got around there. Yeah, you got your popcorn, you got ready, and we watched. And it's like we talked earlier, like Disney. You know, there was always the movie of the week or whatever, and you sat down and there was a whole gathering. Now we have thousands of options at any second, any time to watch whatever we want. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Then you spend an hour looking for something.
Dude, I spend more time looking for something on Netflix than I do watching. It's like, what's that? What's that? Let me watch a trailer, and I'll spend an hour watching fucking trailers. So it's like, okay, well, that was interesting.
Trailer reviews.
We could. There's some really bad ones. How in this day and age can people not make a good trailer? There's plenty of examples of what a good trailer is. I'm just saying.
That's a rabbit hole, man, right there. Just
I know, right?
Conversation. So let's stick with
Scrooge.
Let's stick with Scrooge, the happy guy.
I hate people.
You know what I think of it? I've watched this. I got lucky. I was looking for this for the longest time on DVD, and I could never find it. This is another one that I could never find. I don't even know. I've stopped looking for it on DVD right now. I don't even know if it's sold on DVD, to be honest with you, or Blu-ray or anything. I don't know. I stopped looking. But I got lucky and I found it, and I got it. I'm not going to say how, but I got it. And I watch it every year since I got it. And it's got to be it's up there. It's one of my favorite versions of Scrooge. Albert Finney with minimal makeup has become Scrooge as an old man.
Yeah, it is minimal makeup, but it's here's the thing. That's one of the things I noticed right away when we went back in time with the movie and saw young Ebenezer versus, you know, when I say young, you know, young, not child, but young Ebenezer versus current. They did a really good job making him look old. They did it with just having his hair unkempt, his dirty fingernails, they made a point to show that he was dirty. He was not he was greasy. This is the most vile portrayal of Ebenezer Scrooge that I have seen.
Yeah.
This man is a motherfucker. And more so than others.
And all thanks to Albert Finney and his absolute brilliant acting ability.
Dude, he's great.
He's got minimum hair done. Like they make his hair look thin, so it's probably a headpiece and all that. Then again, Albert Finney may have let them thin out his hair. Who knows? This guy, he was that kind of actor. He would look whatever was for the part. But no prosthetics on his face.
None.
For his old
age.
He
looks 30 years older.
He does this thing with his mouth and his jaw, and
he also he bends over more.
Yeah. He hunches his shoulders. He pushes his shoulders forward. He's hunched over, and he walks.
He walks different.
He always has a scowl on his face, and he shuffles when he's walking. And if he didn't do all that, and they just had minimum makeup on, it would have never worked. This is fucking acting.
Yes, it is.
What's missing nowadays.
This
guy, and when he starts singing I Hate People, which is my favorite song in the whole thing because I can absolutely relate to it. And I sing that song all the time. My wife laughs at me. I hate people. But when he starts singing that, you see him physically getting angrier, and his face just gets meaner, and he's just the looks of detest, and his body language is just.
He's a hell of an actor, dude. He brought it. He understood the assignment.
Oh yeah. And then the kids are chasing him. All the little boys that are like begging for money and singing and getting money early on are following him around and they're singing Father Christmas. But I just want to talk about him because he's such a phenomenal actor.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, when they switch to him being the young man and he's courting his girlfriend, he's straight up. His shoulder, that guy's
Yeah.
got like wide shoulder. I mean, I have narrow shoulders, but he's
Yeah,
got like
he's
a wide, broad
good-looking
chest. And
guy,
I'm like,
looks very different than
and it's not padding, it's nothing like that. That's
no, it's
Albert Finney's
the
real throw.
physicality of his acting was very apparent.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane that anybody can do that with minimal makeup, not losing 800 pounds. That he didn't lose
Yeah.
50 pounds to play the part of Ebenezer Scrooge. He looked like he lost 50 pounds, but he didn't. He
Yeah.
was the same guy that he
I
was when he was playing
you
the young
know,
guy. It's
it's a
amazing.
whole nother topic and a whole nother podcast, but I always felt that if you go through that type of physical transformation, you're not really
Right.
acting, you're just pretending to be that person. You're well, of course that's what acting is.
Well,
However,
no,
you
but I
you
know what you
phys-
mean. It's
you've
no
you
longer acting, and you've actually done it.
you've actually done it, like Shia LaBeouf taking out his teeth for a movie. It's like, are you kidding me, you freaking idiot?
Yeah, why would
Christian
anybody?
Bale dropping down to under 100 pounds for
Yeah,
the machinist or mechanic, which is an
yeah,
awesome freaking movie. And it's amazing, but that was not necessary to
yeah.
damage yourself for that. It's
There's no
not.
reason to do because that catches up to you. There are actors who have
It
done
does.
that
There's
because
actors now, they're like, nope, not doing
yeah,
any weight changes, none. It's hell
and it
no.
catches up. It really
Yeah.
catches up to you, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, your body's just not
I
made
think
to.
I think Tom Hanks said that helped contribute to the fact the reason he has diabetes now and everything else because of all the weight
Oh, because of
changes.
all the shit that he did
Yeah.
over the
I think
years. Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean,
I
I
could be
suppose it's
wrong. I could have
possible.
read the article wrong, or it could be misremembering, or a
But
Mandela effect. There is no Tom Cruise in this universe, or
yeah,
Tom Hanks.
Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks. They're both
See
the
what
same
happened? They
guy.
switch places. You never see them together.
No, you don't. That's
You
creepy.
know? Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. Anyway, back to Albert Finney. Okay.
back to Albert Finney. And before
Yes.
we go any further, folks, please hit the subscribe, hit the
Hit the
like button,
like.
share us, leave a comment, let us know what you think. Let other folks know what you think. Go ahead and share us around. Uh, we're on Rumble also. If you're on
Yes.
Rumble, share us around, please. I like to get us out there. I really like Rumble because I think we get more. I think we get more feedbacks from Rumble so far,
Mm.
if I'm not mistaken. I think. Um, but we're here to talk and chit chat about
Yeah.
movies. Unless you're
Rumble,
Kathleen
YouTube, and
Kennedy,
Facebook. So if you want to watch the video, that's where it is, and audio is wherever you listen to your podcast. You'll find us. So
unless you're
and
Kathleen Kennedy, or you've spent $100 million on a really bad movie, we're gonna try and find something nice to say about a movie when we do a review.
so if for some reason you guys tune in and you see two black gay chicks, we have been bought out by Disney.
Yeah.
And moving on.
Speaking of which, the Pandaverse.
We have
But let
fallen
me go
into the
through.
Pandaverse.
I want to go through the names of this movie because there's two very big names in this movie right off the bat. One, of course, is Albert Finney.
Mhm.
The second, we always drop a Star Wars reference, and this is without me even trying. Sir Alec Guinness is the ghost of Jacob Marley. What on earth? Holy mother Murgatroyd, that guy.
I know, right? So different.
He The thing is, he changes his voice, and I've seen him do that kind of voice in one or two other movies before. But he plays the ghost, and he's in white, and he's chained, and
He's
they
got
have
his
him
chains.
at one point. They have him floating on wires. It's kind of cheesy, but it really
It
works
works well,
really
man.
well.
The wire work is great in here.
But the thing that really got me is the way he moved. Again, it's all about the movement. You believe he's Jacob Marley's ghost because
You
he's doing
have,
this. He's moving backwards at one point, and I was trying to figure out, did they film him walking like in this weird walk and then just reverse it? But I don't
I
think
don't
they
think
did.
so.
I think that
No.
was him. I think that was him just moving. Like
He
he
had a
figured out how he
movement.
walked and then did it backwards.
Yeah, he had a movement about him that was actually really cool.
Yeah, creepy. Very creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just gotta, because this is the way my brain works, and I apologize, listeners
Okay.
and watchers. Dave talks about somebody walking backwards in a movie. If you haven't seen it, watch Malignant on Max or wherever the hell it's at right now.
Right.
James Wan. There's an actor that spends the entire time moving backwards, actually fighting and attacking people backwards.
Oh,
They're a contortionist. It is the most insane thing. When you watch, it's like, how did they get this CGI to work this way? It's not.
right.
It's a real person, and it makes it so. The movie is batshit crazy. I absolutely adore Malignant because of stuff like that. It's just
Right.
like, you know what? Screw you. We're making a horror movie, and it's going to be nuts. And it was.
Yeah. Go for it.
Go for it. But anyway, back to that. Back to Scrooge. Yes, Alec Guinness. My God, he was great as Marley.
And every year, or almost every year, I forget that he's Marley until he
Yeah.
shows up, because
I completely forgot till you said that.
Yeah, because he does such a good job. But some of the other names in this are Edith Evans. She was the ghost of Christmas Past.
Ah,
He was the one who basically took no crap from
no,
Ebenezer.
she
I
didn't.
loved her as Ghost of Christmas Past. Um, Kenneth Moore was the ghost of Christmas Present. Lawrence Naismith was Mr. Fezziwig. Michael Medwin was Harry Scrooge's nephew. It didn't they the way they wrote that out, it didn't look right.
Harry
David
Scrooge.
Yeah, Harry Scrooge's nephew. Wait, what? Uh, David Collings was Bob Cratchit. Anton Rogers was Tom Jenkins. Um, Susan Nevy was Isabel Fezziwig. Francis Kuka was Ethel Cratchit. And then there some of the other names are just
Yeah.
oh, here's one. Rob Kinnear, second gentleman of charity. He's if you folks look him up on IMDb, Roy Kinnear, you may not know the name, but when you see him, you're gonna go, "Holy crap! This guy's in everything back in the
Yeah.
'70s and '80s." This guy was such a big. He did Disney. He
There's a
did
lot of
Paramount,
familiar faces in
he did
this.
Universal. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gordon Jackson, I think, was in Empire Strikes Back.
Mhm.
Um, Patty Stone was the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. I mean, there's just names in here, and it's all faces that I'm recognizing, which is
Yeah.
great. They don't have any of the kids on here.
Which is a shame, because they may have went on to do some things, but,
Yeah, the kids that follow are basically Scrooge's nemesis off and
pretty
on through the
much,
movie.
pretty much.
They are really good. Those kids
Look,
all
when we were
did
when we were
really good.
growing up, it was always fun to harass the neighborhood curmudgeon, because you
Right.
knew you'd get a rise out of them, and that
Yeah.
that was cool to see these kids. They were being kids. They were fucking with Scrooge pretty hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But everybody hated Scrooge. We all know the story of A Christmas Carol. We all do. This
Right.
one does it a little differently than some. Um, I found that this was, for me, one of the most vile portrayals of Scrooge, just by some of his comments. And I forget the exact verbiage, but when he's being told about people dying, he's like, "Well, they better hurry up and get on with it and reduce the surplus
Yeah.
of people on this planet." It's
Yeah.
like, dude, what the hell? And he just would say stuff throughout the whole thing. It's like, you are a vile, sick, despicable man. And
Yep.
Albert Finney did it so well that you really hated him. But what I love is when he first starts to crack, when he's at the Christmas party
Yeah.
and they're playing this
Yeah.
game, and he's starting to have fun. And we see Albert Finney transform from this old ass curmudgeon into a younger kid.
Yeah. That's when you
He's
see him
having
starting
fun.
to remember his
He
memories
forgot
are
what it
coming
was
back.
like to be a child. He
Yeah.
forgot what it was like. And it was well done, dude. This one is just so well done.
I like how they did this. There's a scene that is not in the book, and usually I get really pissy when somebody does something so
No.
drastically against the main story. Now, I
Right.
understand usually, like, changing something like we have to put 2 characters as 1 because it just slows it down if you try to have too
Yeah.
many things going on, and I understand that. And usually it really bothers me when they add something, but there's a scene in this movie where Scrooge goes to hell.
I know, that was like, what? I wasn't ready for that, but it's
That is
perfect.
it works.
It
And
works
it works
perfectly.
because they kept it all in character and all as part of what he's going through, instead of
Mhm.
having it just be like, "He's in hell now? What
Well,
happened?"
what was
You
great
know
about
what's
when he
happening.
goes what was great was when he goes to hell, he finds out he is now Bob Cratchit to Lucifer,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he is in a freezing ass cold room and told he'll be the only one in hell freezing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it is a special kind of irony that he has put in that, and I
Yeah.
thought it was well done. I was thrown off as like, wait, is he in hell? Oh my god, he's in hell,
Yeah,
and it
he's
was
in
cool.
hell.
It was cool, and I love the bit with the chains because
Yeah.
Jacob Marley said, you know, the more evil or horrible you are, the bigger your chains are. And he's
Yeah.
like, they're still making yours. You know, it's taken a
"Sorry, your
while.
chain wasn't ready for you."
And it
"Oh,
takes
wait, here it
all
comes
these guys
now."
bringing this giant chain in. And there's so much symbolism in this movie, and it's just
Yeah.
so well done. Well done.
They did a really good job. Uh, the song each and again, this is a musical where all the songs push the story
They
forward.
do.
There's
That's one of
not
the
one
things.
unnecessary song in this, unlike The Wiz. There's
Yes.
not
And
one unnecessary song in this. It all
that's
makes sense.
what I that's what I took from this. I watched this as like, because I like musicals if they're Grease. Um,
Yeah.
so
I know I put you through musicals, and I know you
that's
don't
my
really like
bar. That's
them.
my I like a good musical. This was good.
Yeah,
The songs worked. The
yeah,
songs made
yeah,
sense. They all drove the story. And that's some things that we've talked about. Just
right.
breaking out into song for the hell of it doesn't make sense sometimes. But
Yeah,
when
yeah.
this one, they all fit, except I thought there was a time that we didn't need to hear the same song so close to each other again. Um
Oh, okay, is that the one with
the
that, Tiny Tim sings?
no, it's I think it's the what is it? Said,
"Thank you
"Thank you
very
very
much."
much." Yes. We
And
hear it so close. It seems like within 10 to 15 minutes of hearing it, we hear it
well, yeah, but
again.
that's
It makes
also
sense.
that's also the time, and to me, it makes sense because the first time, it's meaning one thing.
True.
The
That's a good point.
second time
That's a good point.
is what Scrooge thought it meant the first time.
I know that's my favorite scene in the movie
I don't
when
wanna give you
Scrooge
too much away with
yeah.
it, but yeah,
All I'm gonna say is there's a scene that I was shocked to see, and it's such a
yeah,
great song. And just seeing Scrooge, he's so proud, he's so
yeah,
happy, and then he realizes what people are happy about. I will, without giving the whole scene away, they're happy because he died, and it was the
yeah.
kindest thing anybody's ever done. And
It's such
it's
a good
so
scene, and
wow.
that dance number.
It's a good one.
I was talking to the old lady, and there's a scene, there's probably about 100 dancers, at
Oh
minimum,
yeah.
there's 100 dancers on camera all at the same time doing all the exact same
Yeah.
movements. I don't know how many times they had to shoot this.
Oh Lord. You know the
That
choreography
alone
takes forever.
that alone would be forever to film. But there's one point, and I don't know if you caught this, and it seems like a little thing. If you're not really paying attention, you're just watching the dance, you're like, "Oh, that's really good." But all the men take their hats off, and they're like almost not the topper hats, but they're almost like maybe half the size of a topper,
Mhm.
and they flip. They don't spin them like lengthwise. They spin them end over end in the air, which is very difficult to spin a hat and then grab it and put it back
Huh.
on. It's just because it catches air. Every guy in that crowd, which is probably if there's 100 guys, 150 people, 75 guys,
Yeah.
all taking their hats off at the exact same time, flipping them end over end, catching them and putting their hats
I
back
did
on,
not catch that.
all at the same damn time. And last night's the first time that I realized what they had done. And it's a
Wow.
little, like I said, if you're not paying attention, it doesn't seem like that big a deal. But to have that many guys do that type of hat and that type of spin,
Yeah.
difficult. The rest of the time, they were just kind of throwing their hats up like you would whenever you graduate, kind of a spinning
Mhm.
up in the air and catch it like a disc kind of thing.
Yeah, just
That was, but that first one, I was just like, holy crap. They all did it. Not just the one guy.
yeah.
They all did it. I was like, how did they get that shot? That to me is miraculous. That's the kind of thing that I look at when I watch dancers.
Yeah, it was well done.
I can't dance. I definitely can't dance like that. But that dance, that's next to the Saw dance in
Okay.
Seven
Yeah,
Brides
Seven
for
Sisters.
Seven Brothers,
Yeah.
this is my next favorite dance, or they're so close together.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, I love this movie. It's really good. I highly recommend it to anyone
Absolutely.
who loves
Absolutely.
Ebenezer Scrooge stories. The Christmas Carol, it tells the actual story. It does take some liberties here and there,
Of
of
course.
course, because it is a musical, and Scrooge does go to hell, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, it wasn't one of those deals where I was like, "That was useless. That's stupid. That's why did they do that?" It actually all fits into the story.
What
It's
I liked,
basically Christmas future
yeah.
sending him there. Like, this is your future.
This is
Have
where
a
you're
nice
going.
day.
Yeah. Yeah. What I liked was catching scenes that I've seen redone in other versions of this
Right,
movie.
right.
Like the sliding on ice took me right to the
Yeah,
Muppet movie and the Muppet Christmas Carol. This one, as far as my ranking falls, probably into the third
yeah,
position.
okay.
But because I absolutely adore the Muppet Christmas
Muppet
Carol.
the Muppet Christmas Carol. I get it.
And to me, with the Muppet Christmas Carol, I am still so much in love with what we watched last year, The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Oh,
I
yeah,
I
that's
just
a good one.
that movie was so brilliant. I just loved it. And seeing this is good. This is
Yeah,
really good. And I remember the first, not the second ghost who showed up. The big, what happened?
Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my screen just went blank. Okay, yes,
Really? I
the
can see you fine.
well, all right, we're here. It's back on. But
Okay.
that was really cool to make him look so giant, and then having all the wire work and everything.
In
But
the
that's
book,
the
he's
scenes.
really big. In the
Yeah,
book, he's big, and he can fit into very small places, so he can grow and shrink.
yeah. A- And I remember just seeing those scenes as a kid. I've
Mm,
seen that bit of the movie before, and Jacob
right.
Marley looked familiar. There were things that reminded me. It's like I saw this sometime in the '70s. I saw
Yeah.
this at some
Yeah, I'm
point.
sure.
I didn't remember much of it. Yeah, because it was on TV. We had, as I was saying earlier, there's a few things to watch, and everybody
Yeah,
watched them.
and you better watch one of them because somebody's gonna talk about that the next day in school.
Oh yeah, everybody had to talk about it. Yeah, it's the J.R. Ewing moment.
Yeah, the Jerry Ewing moment. Who shot him? Then turned out that's not who I thought shot JR. That
It
sucks.
was a dream. It was a dream.
No,
Sorry,
that was a
folks.
dream later. That
Yeah.
dream later came whenever they were like, "Shit, our show sucks. Gotta get
Oh,
Bobby back."
yeah.
But for Scrooge, there is a cartoon. There's an animated version of Scrooge.
Oh, you said Mr. Magoo?
It's on Netflix. No, this is not
Oh,
Netflix.
okay.
And I think it's called Scrooge. And I watched it last year with the wife. And the songs, they were pulling up songs from this movie.
Oh,
And I looked over at the wife and said, how in the hell are they getting away with that? How are they stealing this music?"
right.
And it turns out Leslie Bricusse, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, so don't kill me, folks. Leslie Bricusse, Bricusse. I'm guessing it's Bricusse.
That's close, I
He's the
guess.
music
Maybe.
guy. He's the one who came up with all the music. Also produced
Oh,
this tune, this animated movie.
oh, okay.
And it runs very close to the lines, but it takes a lot of different liberties and does a lot of different little things. It's a good fun watch. But there are some songs in it that you're like, how the hell did they do that? I think Ebenezer Scrooge in the cartoon is way too good looking, but that's just me. It's
Yeah,
a good cartoon. I recommend it. You might like it, Scott. I know you want Christmas this year. I know you want Christmas in your heart this year.
I do.
So
I
you
do.
might want to
I
watch
do.
that one. It's good. It's not a bad watch at all. Um, but it just shocked me when they took
Oh,
that.
very cool.
That.
I will put that in my Netflix queue. One of the things that I noticed watching this, and the more times I read this story and see this story play out,
Uh,
is who represents Christmas. It's usually Bob Cratchit and his nephew are
yeah,
basically they are the spirit of Christmas. They are the
right.
most kind, the most forgiving,
His
the
nephew.
most loving. I know. I love that scene with his nephew at the party, and he stops everybody to hold a toast to Ebenezer, and they all just look at him with horror. It's like, how can you toast this horrible man?
Why are you toasting this
And he
guy?
says, I know he's horrible, but
Yeah,
he's my uncle. I love him, and I hold a place for him here every year, and in hopes that he will come. And dude,
yeah,
that's such a good moment, and it shows you that he and Cratchit are people that, my God, if we could just be a little bit more like them.
yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard.
There is a scene, I don't know if you ever saw, did we do the George C. Scott Scrooge last year?
No, no,
There's a scene in
we did
that.
a 1930s one.
Yeah, okay, the first one. You did probably the first or second one then.
Yeah, we've done that one, which
First
was
one, you
great.
did the first one, which is awesome, folks. You gotta
Oh,
watch
it's really good. Yeah.
Christmas Carol,
30
1938,
something and well done. Well done.
37,
Absolutely
38. I think
recommended.
that guy plays a hell of a good Scrooge.
Yeah.
And he looks just like that whenever he actually got old, which is funny. Uh,
I've seen the George C. Scott one before though.
there's a
So
scene in the George C. Scott one where the nephew is giving the toast, and everybody's like, "How are you doing this?" And he says, "I know he's horrible," and he says, "But my mother loved him, and my mother could only love somebody if there was something to love about that person.
mm.
So if there's something there that she loved, I have to keep giving him a chance."
Well, and you see
Or
that.
something to that effect. And I was just like, every time he says that, it literally makes me well up. Like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, that
Well,
that mom.
there's
He knows that his mom loved his uncle.
right. There's a few scenes, and it's not much, but you do
Uh,
see in this particular movie that they tried to show that there was a love between Scrooge and his sister.
yeah,
So they did show that, and that was good. It's brief, but it's enough to set up that the nephew is the way
right.
he is, and
Right.
I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, they did a
There's
good
so
job.
much there. It's not only that scene; it's also at the Cratchits when Bob does the same thing.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah,
I. There's something really cool about watching the Cratchits at Christmas.
yeah,
They've got nothing. They've got one small goose to go between them, but he loves his kids so much, and he is putting on this big production of
mhm,
how talented he is with the punch, the famous Cratchit punch.
yeah,
He is
yeah.
making magic for his children, and I get chills thinking about it. It's just so good, man.
The wife pointed something out like that about the Cratchit. She's like, oh, for as bad as they've got it, for as bad as the world is,
You would never
he
know.
he will not allow that to come and touch his children.
No,
He's not going to let Scrooge ruin it. He's not going to let the king ruin it, the queen. He's not going
nope.
to let the mayor, Lord Mayor, ruin it. My kids are my kids, and I'm going to
And they're
take
going to have
care
a
of
good
them,
Christmas.
and they are going to have a good Christmas. They're not going to know how bad the world really is, not yet. And
Yeah,
he
that's what I got
protects
from
them,
it. It's like,
and
damn,
it's
Bob.
such a good scene with
Mhm.
Bob Cratchit. And that's a really good guy who plays Bob Cratchit. He's a really
Yeah,
good,
I've seen
really good
him
guy.
before too. Shocking.
Yeah. And the
So,
guy I wanted to bring up the guy, Anton Rogers played Tom Jenkins, and I think that's the guy who starts the dance and
mm,
ripping the pages out of the thing. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
gentleman. His dance, it looks really easy, but I would think that that was probably really hard to do on a moving surface.
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Especially on
It
that
looks
surface.
Yeah, it looks like it would be really easy, but that's a narrow and very not a very long surface to be doing that on.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a great scene. I mean, but that's one of the things that I noticed last night. As many times as I've read and
Uh,
seen the story, is just who the Cratchits and his nephew symbolize. The spirit of Christmas,
yeah, you're
embody it
right.
completely,
You're
and
right.
it's very touching. No matter what movie you watch, if you focus on the Cratchits, you'll see the same thing, and
Oh,
it's
yeah. You'll see
it's
love.
it's really good. And
You'll
that's
see
that's
nothing
just
but
it.
love.
And Scrooge, I don't know what it is that the only thing I have, and this is not really a complaint, but it
Uh,
just seemed like he was just won over by Tiny Tim so damn fast. And here it's like,
right.
excuse me, excuse
Yeah.
me, what? How
Whereas
did
the
you
other
make that
ones,
turn?
where some of the other movies, it seems to take a little while longer. I think in
Yeah,
the
he shifted fast, and that's fine. We know the story. We know it's
he's
he's going
gonna
to worry
shift
about.
anyway.
Yeah, we know he's going to shift. We know he's going to worry about Tiny Tim. He's going to find out
Right.
Tiny Tim dies if he doesn't get medical care.
Yeah.
And this is what's wonderful. And you see such a transformation. Albert Finney goes from this old
Yeah.
nasty, dirty old man
Uh-huh.
into a young, vibrant, loving person overnight, and people's jaws are on the floor everywhere. And it makes
Yeah.
sense because that's I was like, damn, what the hell? But that's
Nobody even recognizes him at first,
no,
you
no,
know?
they
They're like,
don't. They yeah,
"Who's this
they're
guy?"
expecting something completely different. Hey, remember
Yeah.
that debt? Forget about
Yeah.
it. What?
Yeah.
And
Forget
it
about the debt
changes the
guy.
meaning of that song. And that's
Exactly.
that's
And
that's where it
that's
does.
what I
You're
mean,
right.
like, that's
You're
why those
right.
songs are so close together because I think if you had them further apart, let's
You
say you
wouldn't
had
catch
that
it,
halfway
which I
through
didn't catch it
and
that
then at the
close.
very end, I think it would be too big of a stretch.
Right.
But having them so close is like, look, this is the juxtaposition that happened, and
Yeah.
that really reinforces the push, you know? That's how I
Yeah.
always took it.
Yeah. It was well done. Well
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
So do you
So
have
what do you
anything
think?
else to add about this? I
I
love
got
it.
nothing else to add.
I
I
love
could
it.
sit here and
I
talk about this
recommend it.
movie and get even just spoilers
Yeah,
abound
I
right
mean,
now.
it's hard to spoil A
A
Christmas
Christmas Carol.
Carol. This has got a scene that I'd never seen in it before, and I think it was wonderful.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so it's got good songs, and that was the first thing I noticed because it's like, look, I do like musicals, and the ones
right,
we've watched some really good ones, but it's not my go-to genre. So I was like,
right.
oh man, Dave, what have you got me into? Let me watch. And it's like,
I
hey,
hate people.
the songs fit.
I knew
If
you were
it
gonna like that one.
I did, dude. If it goes along with it, it's perfect.
Yeah,
If it's not just, hey, we need to have 20 songs jammed in here because
right,
we want to show off elaborate dance numbers and not have any substance to
right, right.
to the movie, then okay, I don't like that. But this one was perfectly well done.
And
Well
then the
done.
boys start singing Father Christmas to him, and
Yeah.
then again, they start the reintroduction to Father Christmas whenever they're
Yep.
singing to him, and it's
Yep.
again for a completely different reason.
Yep.
Yeah, this movie I can't recommend enough.
Yep.
Again, I love the story. I love A Christmas Carol story. I read it every year for the last I don't know how many years I've been reading this damn thing.
I may have to pick up the tradition.
You won't be sorry. And my God, I remember when I first started reading it, I was working at a company during Christmas time, and I was just miserable. I was just a freaking misery. And here I'm going to throw out my personal religious thought. And I was just like, God, what? Why am I doing this? Why am I here? I need a sign. I need something. Let me know
Mhm.
why.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I found this old book that I had had. I had this book for a long time. And
Mm.
for anybody who's listening and not watching, it's A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It is a Washington Square Press book. It was this is how old this book is. This book that I'm holding in my hand was 45 cents, bought brand new.
Oh wow.
Um, its original press date for this book is, if I can find the date on it, the pages are so old. 1st printing was 1939,
Wow.
and another printing. So, okay, so this was 1964. This was a 1964 printing. But I found this book. Like after I was like, oh Lord, why? I need a sign. Well, I found this book and I started reading it. And for that Christmas was the first Christmas in I don't know how many years of retail that I was like, I'm I'm in a good mood. I need to be it was one of those deals where I need to be a better person. And I feel like that. And it comes around every year. And thank God,
Yeah.
because by the time Christmas comes around, I'm already starting to putter out as being a good human being.
Oh,
So
dude,
I
I
get my
start
re
out by January 30th, it's over. It's become a miserable asshole till Christmas. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I'll read this book, I'll watch a couple of Scrooges or Christmas carols, and then come back up. I start feeling better
Yeah,
again.
yeah, absolutely.
I did used to
Absolutely.
be I used to be that guy, man.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know if I ever told this story, and I'm gonna tell it real quick, and then we'll get off. My wife and I, when we lived up north, up in Jersey, it was wintertime, and we're shopping for it with our friends. We're in the Christmas, mood.
Yeah.
We're having fun. There's probably 6 of us in the store, and it's like a CVS or a Walgreen or something. We're getting last minute little gifts, tchotchke stuff for everybody,
Yeah.
and we're basically all buying stuff for whoever's with us shopping. We're just, goofing around. Had nothing better to do. It was right before Christmas. It might have been like 2 days before Christmas, and I do the famous, you know, uh, anybody who goes around with, "Merry Christmas" in their mouth should be, what is it? Buried with a stake of Harley through his heart. And it's like the whole diatribe of Scrooge whenever he's talking to his nephew. And I did the whole thing. At that point, I like right now I'm drawing a blank,
All
but I
right.
can do it. But I did this whole diatribe, and I'm like acting it out to my wife and my friends, and they're laughing, they're dying. They're like, "Oh my God, this is brilliant." And the lady behind the counter doesn't see us.
Uh-huh.
She just hears me saying what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
And she's like, "Oh my God, what is wrong?" She's like, "It's Christmas. Why are you so angry?" And my wife turns around, and I don't know if my wife can see her or not, but she turns around, she looks, and she's like, "It's a Christmas carol. Read a book."
I
And
don't
I
remember.
just died. There's like
That's
6 or 7
awesome.
of us that just died in the damn place.
There was some, and I forget what it was from, so forgive me, but there was somebody had done something like that in a bookstore. Went up to the counter, just started quoting out of some famous book or some
Oh,
popular book,
shit, really?
and the
It's so
person
funny.
at the bookstore was completely blank. And people were talking about how horrible this woman was. Like, it's from a book.
It's from a
So,
book, dummy.
at
Oh
a
god,
bookstore.
that's funny. It
So
The only
that's
other
great,
time that I
dude.
did that and the person that did just somebody knew what I was doing was the Conan. What is good?
Oh, yes,
When
yes, yes.
Conan
The
goes on about
lamentation of your women.
the
Yeah.
lamentations of the women, and I did the whole thing to my and I did it in Arnold's voice, and there was a guy coming around the corner, and he looks over and he starts laughing. He goes, "You're right," and it was just this big guy, this big muscular
Oh,
guy.
that's awesome.
Like, "Yep."
That's awesome.
And he was laughing his ass off. My old lady's just laughing. She's like, "I can't believe you," because that's how men meet. That's how men decide they like each other, huh?
That's awesome. Oh God.
Yes, you quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're probably gonna find somebody in your tribe.
Very cool. Very cool. So, yes, I highly recommend this version of A Christmas Carol called
Yeah,
Scrooge 1970, Albert Finney. Look it up if you want to stream it. It's available on Paramount Plus for streaming.
uh-huh.
That's where I
Or
caught it.
YouTube.
Yep, there you go. So, yeah. So that it's out there.
Yeah,
I don't know. Again, like Dave says, don't know if it's on DVD, but it is streamable. Uh, Definitely check it out. So I would like to thank everyone for listening, our new listeners, our new subscribers. Thank you. And thank you for the suggestions, Chris. We'll see if those come in this next year.
awesome.
And tune in next week when we bring you some more Christmassy goodness.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, thanks.
Take it easy.
We'll catch you next week.
Cheers.